Hi, we're going to discuss American idiom, Moneytalks today, and if you really like this video after you've watched it, please click the thumbs up, please subscribe to my channel, and please click on the bell so you'll be notified when I come out with new videos. Thanks a lot! Hi, this is John Linneball of John Linneball Tutoring, and this is the 5th installment in my American Idiom series. We're going to discuss idioms referring to money, or money talks. So we'll start right on that as soon as we have this little intro here.
Don't wanna be an American idiot.
So this is American Idiom Part 5, Money Talks. Again, this is John Linneball from John Linneball Tutoring. You can find me at johnlinneball.com. You can email me at john@johnlinneball.com. And you can call me at 415-986-7355. Or you can even call or text me at 415-623-4251. All right, so here are a few things that we want to discuss regarding money, American idiom. Warning, there is some profanity ahead. Some of these slang phrases involve common vulgar English curse words and should not be used in polite company. If foul language offends you, please skip the movie clip and the next slide, and I'll put timestamps in there when I'm done recording this video. The curse word involved is commonly abbreviated to BS, so it's just BS spelled out, and so you've been warned. All right, money talks, bullshit walks.
Well, money talks and bullshit walks.
How can bullshit walk? That's slang, huh?
Meaning, if you have money to pay for my goods or services, I'm happy to talk business with you. Otherwise, please walk away. The word bullshit is vulgar and rude. Some people might use BS or bullcrap instead when talking in polite company. And here's the URL to that video clip that I just showed you if you want to watch that YouTube video from the movie Twins that came out back in the 80s when I was a teenager. There are biblical references to money. The U.S. is about 70% Christian, so biblical references to money are pretty common. Love of money is the root of all evil. People often misquote this saying as money is the root of all evil. That's not true. Money can neither be good nor bad. It's just a medium of exchange for goods and services. You're not likely to run into problems with money until you make it the absolute focus of your life. That's why they say love of money is the root of all evil. So when you fall in love with money and you'll do anything to get it, yeah, that's when evil comes into focus, or that's when it enters into the equation. So notice the love of money is the root of all evil, not just money is the root of all evil. See also, it is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. So here you go, that's Mark 10:25. That's the saying, whether you agree with it or not is your own business. 30 pieces of silver. You might hear or see 30 pieces of silver, references to 30 pieces of silver. 30 pieces of silver is the payment Judas Iscariot was to have received from the authorities in exchange for betraying Jesus. You may see a reference to 30 pieces of silver when someone is accused of betraying someone for money. Oh, great. You turned in your friend. Hope you enjoy your 30 pieces of silver. Something like that. Judas also kissed Jesus, so that's where the phrase betrayed with a kiss or a Judas kiss comes from. It's similar to the mafia kiss of death. Lending terms. Usury. Usury is the sin of charging interest, which is prohibited in some sects of Judaism and the early Catholic Church. It's also the official name of the secular crime, crime under the current U.S. federal and state codes, known as loan sharking. Actually, I think that's just a state law, but that's not important right now. You can look that up. If you charge more than what you're allowed to, it is a crime known as usury. A loan shark is a person who charges excessively high interest for loans, and since that's illegal, uses illegal methods, that is violence or extortion, to collect the loan payments, since obviously you can't rely on the police or the courts to enforce illegal contracts. A penny. A penny is the smallest unit of U.S. money. It's worth 1 cent. It's worth 1/100th of a U.S. dollar. So a penny for your thoughts, that's a way of saying, what are you thinking? Putting my 2 cents in, that's called giving my opinion. So sometimes people respond, yeah, that's about all your opinion's worth is 2 cents. That and another 50 cents might get you a cup of bad coffee somewhere. I've run into that on the internet. To give away money is an easy matter and in any man's power, but to decide to whom to give it and how large and when, and for what purpose and how, is neither in every man's power nor an easy matter. That's from Aristotle, a very famous ancient Greek philosopher. And here we are at Penny Lane, like the Beatles song. So, penny wise and pound foolish. You're trying to save money by seeking out bargains on things you shouldn't buy in the first place. So the idea is, if you're trying to, in quotes, save a few pennies, you may end up actually spending money you shouldn't. For example, if you're driving way out of your way to buy gas that's 10 cents per gallon cheaper, but if you have an 18-gallon tank, you save $1.80. But if you have to drive so far that you burn, more than $1.80's worth of gas, you've actually lost money, plus your time in driving out of your way. So, or in other words, you're being very careful about a really stupid investment of your money. So notice that a pound is the British unit of money, just as a dollar is the US unit of money. And of course, the penny lane is a reference to a Beatles song. In fact, let's see if we can find it right now. Do-do-do. All right, YouTube. Penny Lane. Here we go.
Penny Lane, there is a barber showing photographs of every head.
All right, that's enough of that. So, penny power. In for a penny, in for a pound. So it's used to express someone's intention to complete an enterprise once it had been undertaken, however much time, effort, or money this entails. That's a definition I found from a Google search. Others say that, well, if you owe a penny, you might as well own a pound, which is Wiktionary. This actually looks like the sunk cost fallacy to me. You're probably asking, hey, John, what the heck is a sunk cost? I'm glad you asked. A sunk cost is a term from economics that expresses once you've already spent money on something, it doesn't make sense to keep spending money once you realize that your original investment was a bad investment. Or a common way to say this is also you're spending good money after bad, or you're throwing away good money after bad, da-da-da-da-da. So the idea is, let's say you go to a movie and you hate it. It's horrible. It's the worst movie you've ever seen. But your friend asks, hey, why don't we leave? You say, oh, no, I spent $10 to get into this movie, or $20. Da, 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 da. I can't leave. I'll be wasting money. No, you've already wasted the money. Now you're just wasting your time and putting yourself through extra pain and emotional stress. Same thing when you do something. If you know something's a bad business investment, just know you've lost the money and pull out. So in for a penny, in for a pound, well, maybe not always the best thing. Penny Saver. Okay, well, the Penny Saver is a newspaper that they've had in many neighborhoods in the United States. They had it in my neighborhood growing up. It was a free sheet which had lots of things like pizza coupons and ads for local businesses and maybe a couple filler articles for space that they couldn't fill up with coupons and ads, like how to install a nice garden, da-da-da. Anyway, it was the kind of paper that if you had a job delivering them, you would hand it to the person, and the person half the time would just immediately throw it away. But anyway, a penny pincher is someone who is miserly, excessively thrifty, or frugal. A penny saved is a penny earned. That just means a penny you saved by being frugal is worth just as much as one you earned by working more. So a lot of people say things like that, like, give yourself a raise. If you save money, it's the same as if you earned more money by working harder, but it's even better because you didn't have to work any extra hours. And, of course, the penny saver I've just explained is a common name for a free newspaper with coupons and advertising in it. Dime phrases. Well, here we go. The original Woolworths, the F.W. Woolworth Company, was a 5 and 10 cent store. Woolworths is also a grocery store chain in Australia, for whatever that's worth. But anyway, a dime store, it's old slang for a cheap discount store. Think Walmart, Woolworths, many discount stores that sell cheap household items. I know there's chains around here like GC, Murphy, and McCrory's and whatever. Probably all owned by the same parent company, and they just use different names. Many items at that time cost a dime. A 5 and dime was the same as a dime store. Things actually cost a nickel or a dime at that time because back in those days it was actually pretty valuable. It was probably like $1 or $2 or something like that. Dime a dance. A dime a dance is a reference to old-time taxi dancers, women who would dance with men literally for pay. They would get paid a dime for a dance. You know, slow dancing, not the exotic dancing you might be thinking about. Nickel phrases. All right, to nickel and dime someone is to pester someone for small contributions. You kids collecting for scouting, sports, your school, you're going to nickel and dime me to death. Remember one of my friend's mothers saying that when I came to collect money for scouting or Little League Baseball or something when I was a kid. A plug nickel. I had to look this one up because I've heard it, and I know a plug nickel meant something that's worthless or worth very little. So finally what it is coins were occasionally cut open and the insides hollowed out and the two faces welded together with the cheaper metal. Since nickel wasn't worth that much to begin with, a plug nickel would be worth even less. So the common usage is I wouldn't give you a plugged, or sometimes they just say plug nickel for that junky car. You think I'm going to pay you for this shoddy job you did? I'm not even going to give you a plugged nickel. Okay. Wooden nickels. You might have heard the term, don't take any wooden nickels. And so, of course, people ask, were nickels ever made out of wood? Not really. I mean, yes, at one time in the U.S., nickels made of wood were used as substitutes for the 5-cent coins. After that period ended, wooden nickels were worthless, and the phrase predates that, which indicates that the term goes back to commemorative wooden nickels are occasionally issued as worthless souvenirs. So you can also see on Wikipedia wooden nickel. So this phrase basically means don't let people fool you, be careful. All right, a dime a dozen means very common, therefore not very valuable. Even though this phrase probably goes back to the days when a dime was probably worth about what $1 or $2 would be today, that's still not very expensive if you could get a dozen of it for a dime or even for $1 or $2. So dime a dozen, we have these two pigeons speaking to each other. Okay, what are other words for dime a dozen? Mundane, customary, prevalent, normal, obvious, typical, familiar, vanilla, pedestrian, middling. Just something you see every day. It's not particularly valuable. It's not particularly unusual. Dime novel. A dime novel is a cheap pulp novel, often poorly written and about crime or other lurid topics. So you can see the movie Pulp Fiction, for example. Presumably they actually cost about 10 cents at one time. By pulp novel, I mean they were printed on really cheap pulp paper. The idea they were just read. Bought cheap, read cheap. Probably gotten rid of, much like today's modern paperbacks. Pulp Fiction, 1990s movie. Quentin Tarantino had the idea to make a movie written like a really bad 1960s crime novel. Dime novel and Pulp Fiction are the same thing. Cheaply produced and usually really poorly written fiction sold at a cheap price. Dollar bill, y'all. All right. So, dollar store is a modern day store where most things, or all things, cost $1 or less. To bet dollars to donuts, I'll bet something valuable to something trivial that I'm right. Note, a good donut can cost more than $1 at a donut shop, so this may no longer literally be true, but a cheap donut at a donut shop or a supermarket donut still costs less than $1, so it's still literally true in that context. A buck. A buck is slang for $1. Bang for your buck means value for your money. Here we have this little buck explosion. A sawbuck is a $10 bill. They released him from prison with a new suit and a sawbuck. And a sawbuck can also mean a sawhorse like this here for cutting up downed trees. Pass the buck. I thought this had something to do with a dollar bill, but it doesn't. Apparently this refers to a buckhorn knife, a knife with a handle made of actual buckhorn, used as a marker in poker to determine whose turn it was to deal the cards. So passing the buck is passing authority or responsibility. And of course, former President Harry S. Truman said the buck stops here, and he had the buck stops here on his desk. It meant that he took final responsibility for issues. Great power leads to great responsibility. Another bit of Harry S. Truman, you might notice I didn't put a dot behind his name or a period behind the S in his name. That's because his middle name was just S. He didn't actually have a middle name because his two grandfathers both had names beginning with S and they couldn't decide which one to name him after, so they just made it S. All right, that's it. I hope you have a good day. If you like this video, please subscribe, please like, please comment below. All right, thank you. Hi there, just a little thing at the end here. Please, if you like this video, consider donating even $1 or $2 through the PayPal link that's in the description. These videos will always be free. I'm never going to make anyone pay money, put them behind a paywall, anything like that. But if you appreciate this, please also appreciate that each of these videos takes me at least an hour or two to come up with. So every little bit helps. Thanks. Have a good day.